We're going? We're ready? We got it going on?
I'm recording there.
Nice.
Sound's off here. Okay. And in 2 seconds we're about as live as we can be right now without being live.
Hello world.
Realize this will be episode 5.
Nice.
This will be our laborious day podcast when it eventually goes online.
Yeah. Oh yeah, right?
This is the 29th of August will be live.
Super live. Oh,
This
good.
will be live on
that would be fun.
I think there are big news this week is that we finally got our podcast accepted to Apple Podcasts. So we're on Apple now. So if you go to Apple Podcasts and search for The Atheist and The Witch, you will find The Atheist and The Witch on there. So yay.
Alrighty. That's awesome. Oh, this is very good.
Is that a gym beer that you have?
Yeah, this is a new Yards Brewing beer. It's like an unfiltered IPA. It's really good. It's tasty.
No, that's called an Indian Pale Ale.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell does that mean?
It's an Indian beer. Whoa!
Turn off all these stupidities that these people are going to be smacking me with now.
Who's that?
Who the hell knows? I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
I don't want to hear you right now.
Woo! Yeah, so it's a really tasty beer. I'm digging it. Actually, it's really good. I think it's better than the lager I've been drinking.
Well, as long as it loosens you up for the show, then we're good to go.
Mm.
Gotta be loose for the show. Increases good to go.
I am so loose. I am like a jelly.
So, where should we start the podcast this week?
Oh my god, what a fucked up week.
Is anybody in retrograde? Are we retrograding this week?
I don't know. It was kind of a really weird week. Anyway, so I'm having buyer's remorse. And I go onto a site called Killstar. It's
I think a lot of people that would listen to this would know what Killstar is.
It's a gothic site. They have clothing, they have dolls, jewelry, shoes, you name it, dishes, whatever.
Dishes.
So I went shopping, like most women do, and
charge it.
Yeah. And they had a sale. They have this line of stuffed dolls called Creatures. And I bought Anubis. I had Anubis upstairs. And, it was a buy one, get one free. I'm like, oh my goodness, I gotta get me some. So I had an adorable little gargoyle that I bought. And then, I don't know what possessed me to do this because it's not something I ever thought of before. They had a Baphomet.
As above, so below.
So below. And I don't know why he looked really cute in the photo, and I'm like, he's cute, he's Baphomet, I like goats, whatever. So I bought him. I got Baphomet too. And I got him home. I opened the box and I looked at him and I was like, oh, he's creepy. I'm getting a really, really weird vibe off this doll.
This is stuffed doll.
It is. But it's Baphomet. And I'm like, his eyeballs are going in all different directions. And I'm like, you're creeping me out, dude. So, and then like a week after that, something that never happened to me ever in my entire life before happened.
Dun, 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 dun.
I bounced a check for the first time. In my 50-year existence, I bounced a check.
And unfortunately, you did not have an account that was backed up to that, so that it would automatically just slip some funds over. Mm-hmm. So it actually really...
It bounced.
We got returned for insufficient funds, is the technical term that they like to use.
Yeah, but it just happened to be my water bill. Woo! And townships don't like it when you bounce checks.
So there must be a lot of people out there that are getting whacked with fees left and right because
Well, I'm thinking, for God's sakes, you know, with the COVID bullshit going on, everything's gotten screwed up. I'm like, you could have waived or given a grace period or something.
They make these amazing things now that they call telephones that you can call people up on and leave a message.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they have our phone number because all you have to do would be call, hello, this is blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we received your payment. The check was returned to us for insufficient funds.
Yeah.
This is your first phone call. If we have to call you again at the end of the week, blah, 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 blah. But no. The township doesn't do that. They have their form letter and their little tax collector, who's also, I guess, their water bill collector.
Yeah.
Lots of hats in the township.
Yeah. So instead of making a phone call, they'd rather waste money and write it out, mail it to you. And they mailed it to me almost... Well, this is the thing. So, I saw on my account that something got messed up. I screwed something up where I was off by $50. Luckily, it was the only thing that bounced. But anyway, so I saw, honestly, probably like a day or so after they cashed the check that it bounced. So I immediately put funds into the account and repaid them. And, and made sure that they were paid right away. But once you do bounce a check, they won't accept another payment. They want a certified check or a money order or cash. So and not only that, they whacked me for fees. So my $150 water bill is now $175. And then I went to the bank and got the certified check, which also they whack you for a fee. So
the bank already whacked you $30 for the.
Oh, and for the
overdraft.
bounce, yeah, and for the bounce, yeah, that was the other bank.
30, 50, 52. That's $63.
Yeah.
Welcome to America and our fantastic capitalist system where the banks can fuck you in the ass as hard as they want.
And the town. So yeah, my $150 water bill ended up being over, $200 at this point.
Right back to Brick's water bill.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that pissed us off the most was they sent out a nice letter, all typewritten up.
Oh yeah.
And on there, they just can't say.
You want to read it?
No. Yeah, I'll read it if you have it nearby. But on there, they essentially turn you into a criminal. Like you're like on the lam from Barnegat Municipal.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what you get.
This is what you get.
I am a criminal.
To whom it may concern, please be advised that I am receipt of your check dated for 7/17/2020 in the amount of $152.79, which was submitted for water sewer to the township of Barnegat. This is from our tax collector. What she has to do with the utilities, I have no idea. I guess they have it all in one bundled little thing. However, the above mentioned check was returned. Okay, so now the next line should be, please remit payment immediately to blah, 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 blah. But no. And this is a true statute. No, actually, whoever this is what's on the letter here. You can read that. Under New Jersey statute, now it's called a statute for those of us who understand law, but this was written under New Jersey statute 2C:21-5. This is a disorderly persons offense. Therefore, must inform you that you have 10 days and receive this letter made good by certified cash, check, or money order, including an additional $20 charge for bookkeeping work pursuant to local ordinance. In the event that such payment is not made within the aforementioned 10-day period, a summons will be issued for the violation of issuing a bad check. Very truly yours, our tax collector. So it's like, alright, so we screwed up, made a little boo-boo there. I will pretty much guarantee you that those letters are being handed out to taxpayers around this town, because this is a blue-collar, working-class town, and I'm sure more than a few of them are a little late in their bills this month due to not being able to make money because everything in the friggin' world is shut down. So we got that. We had the money to pay a friggin' $150 water bill. But to come back with the whole disorderly persons offense, and who came up with that anyhow? Like $150, and I checked it all online. If it's $75,000, they immediately assume that you're a federal criminal or some friggin' thing. But yeah, it's a disorderly persons offense. In order to, if you bounce a a check below $200, you're a disorderly person. Now I always thought a disorderly person was somebody walking down the street like
shit faced.
Yeah, like drunk or trying to beat somebody,
yelling.
screaming, yelling. But
apparently not.
no, I could understand if there was an ordinance for that, but it's not disorderly persons. Can we have some lawmakers that, I don't know, are reasonably intelligent people? Because I don't care if you have a law degree. It does not make you intelligent. It just means that you have a law degree. So that was this week's.
Yeah, I started off with that one.
So
I'm like relating this back to Baphomet for some because it was like when I got him, I was kind of waiting. I was like, what's this little dude gonna do? Like, is he creeping me out? And I'm like, and I keep, I saged them, and I have that Mopami wood, and I kept telling him, like, you better be a good boy, better behave.
Baphomet tells you that he's gonna behave.
Well, no, he's in my house. He better behave. If he wants to go live somewhere else, that can be rearranged. And that's what I've been debating. I'm like, do I take this little doll and just like leave him somewhere and hope someone else takes him and gives him a home? Or God only knows what they would do.
I don't think down here in Barnegat, there's
Go
like
over well.
18,000 churches and a million old people that a Baphomet on the trail would be. They would be taken, burned, ground up, and who the hell knows what else for this stuff doll.
That's what I was thinking, because I was like, oh my God, we have this town, page called Barnegat Next Door. Is that what it is?
Well, that's
Next Door Barnegat?
Yeah, it's the Next Door website. We have there's a million Facebook pages where bitches and moans about
But
it.
I'm like, if I did this, if I put this little doll on a park bench somewhere, I swear to God, it would end up on like Next Door Barnegat.
It totally would.
And it would be like, Satanists are in the town! And I'd be like, oh my God, what did I do? It's just a doll I bought. So,
Satanists are in the town!
Needless to say, I didn't do it. Baphomet is still on the 3rd floor in my room, which is my witch room, where I have all my altar, my everything, and me and him had another conversation tonight, and I'm like, I know it wasn't you. I have faith. I just gave you a home. You looked cute in the ad, so there you are with the gargoyle and Anubis and everybody else that's upstairs. So behave, Baphomet.
Oh
Jesus.
Blaming on a doll.
Well, yeah. No, I know I fucked up. I said, I calculated something wrong somewhere. It's the first time I ever fucking bounced a check in my entire fucking life.
Yeah. I think I bounced. I didn't really bounce, but I definitely had insufficient funds in my checking account a couple of times due to transferring funds in or out the wrong way. But I had my savings account linked to my checking account, so that if it goes too low and something comes in, they'll automatically transfer the funds over, and that happened a couple of times. Mm-hmm. But your savings account's in a different bank, so it's not like it's going to automatically transfer over to there. So it's the American capitalist system, which is designed to keep the banks and the
flush.
Yeah, the bank's very wealthy, and the bankers very wealthy, and people who work just with money that don't actually produce a fucking thing. This is designed to keep them very, very wealthy. So Christine, that's $30, $50,
$60,
$60 worth of fees. Yeah. Now that's one mistake. There's people out there that do this because they're
all the
scraping together money, and I can't even imagine. Like, this country is based no longer on physical slavery, where you have to toil in the field. It is now based upon debt slavery, where you are never not in debt to somebody. If it's not the township, if it's not the bank, it's the township. If it's not the township, it's the health insurance companies. Somebody's always going to want money from you until the day you friggin' pass away, and after that, they're going to take the rest of it. And that's the atheist's irritation this week is debt slavery, which is what we have. Capitalism is debt slavery. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Yeah, get mad at me with that one. So I'm going to keep it nice and short this week for the atheist irritation. I don't want to be too irritated this week.
Too irritated. All right, so that was my thing. That's my thing I've been dealing with. I'm creeped out by this little guy. Although on the other hand, I think he's cute. I bought him, and I'm weird like this. Like, I get very attached to my stuffed dolls. And I do weird things too. Like, I don't know why. Like, I'm very empathic towards stuffed dolls. I remember if I see them in the road,
Ah,
I can't handle
pig.
it. Yeah. I saw, the pig was in the mud puddle, but there was the little bear that was up near Osteotech that I ran over for 4 days, and I'm like...
I ran over, I thought you just...
I ran, he was there, he literally sat in the same spot for days, and
Take me home.
I kept looking at this little doll. It was a little beanie bag teddy bear, and he was in the turn lane for 3 days. 3 days in a row I looked at this little thing, and I finally drove up to it, grabbed it, put it in the car. He had a hole busted in him, his little beans were falling out.
I feel that. There are days when my beans are falling out.
I know. His little beans were falling out all over the road. So I took him home, sewed him up, threw him in the washing machine. He's up there somewhere. I still got him.
Because you have a kind heart, and that's why I fell in love with the witch.
I don't know. It's just I do weird shit like that.
Bravo.
I love you. Thank you for loving my weirdness.
Oh, how can I not love your weirdness?
Ah.
I'll love your weirdness later on.
Yeah. So you wanna...
Should we delve into some other stuff besides problems that we've had?
You wanna do the horoscopes for the week?
We can do the horoscopes for the week. We can bang out some horoscopes.
Yeah.
So Christina has entrusted me with doing with starting off the horoscopes this week, as opposed to her starting it off. So she's going to.
I will finish it.
She will finish me off, so to speak.
Woo! It's a happy ending.
So this week's horoscopes are by Lisa Stardust. This is where we're getting it from.
Well, it's from the Hood Witch.
Astrology by Lisa Stardust, but it's from the Hood Witch at thehoodwitch.com. Go check her out. All right, so the overall astrological look this week is. This week starts off. With an amazing alignment between Venus and the North Node of Destiny on August 5th, who are both in Gemini. Life will become seemingly easy and breezy as we make fated connections. Planet of love and money, Venus enters tender Cancer on August 7th. The way we spend money will be more conservative, while our energy becomes sentimental and emotional. Mercury, who's in Leo, lucky Mercury, squares off with Uranus, who's in Taurus, on August 10th. This is entirely too sexual for me this week, and I'm getting slightly turned on. Our dreams and passions will be suddenly awakened with the intention of making them a reality. Well, I like it already. This week sounds fun to me. Alright, Aries. It's time for you to set some necessary boundaries with your crew. This means standing up for your dreams, even if they think they are off kilter. You need to have positive people in your life who support you no matter what, and who will always stand by your side. Speak up kindly and surely to assert yourself and to ensure they respect your visions. I don't know how Beanie feels about that horoscope because she was growling a little. Taurus. Your objectives are changing at the moment, mostly because you are evolving and awakening your inner passions. Don't let your fears get in the way of welcoming the truest, newest, and greatest version of yourself. Change is happening. The more you resist it, the harder life can become. Embrace personal growth with open arms. Squeeze it. Move towards the person you are becoming because it's your destiny. Gemini, you dual crazy people, you. Being consciously aware of what you do, how you act, focusing on the good and the bad behaviors, and knowing the potential consequences of those deeds may have an impact on the reality in which you live. A step taken in any direction can change the course of your life. An act of kindness allows for another, which can alter your life for the better. Cancer. The drama never seems to end in your world. Is that true, Cancers? But this week, such intensities are beginning to simmer down in your personal life. You're learning that it's okay for others to have a difference of opinion from you, even if you wholeheartedly oppose their beliefs. In an effort to resolve arguments swiftly, you're willing to agree to disagree, even if you know you're correct. Leo. It's hard for you to be diplomatic in your thoughts, especially when you feel as though your friends are personally attacking you with their comments. Instead of giving them the benefit of the doubt, speak up and let your feelings be known. Sometimes you have to ruffle feathers and stir things up if your pride is being compromised by those in your inner friend circle. Ooh, I'm burping away here. That's what I get for drinking iced tea before I do horoscopes. This just in.
They're watching a truck back in and out of Cucamonga's parking lot.
We're missing out on this. It's a neighborhood watch. We live in an odd neighborhood. It's called Railroad Ave because we're all getting railroaded into everything.
Oh, they're actually taking stuff in and out of the building.
Oh, we're gonna we'll have updates on this next week.
This is like the Burbs. They're all going outside to watch.
This.
And now they're debating on whether to call the police or not.
To see if things are being stolen. Well, that's how we are. Like, things being stolen, we just make sure everything's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue with the horoscopes. Virgo. My lovely Virgo sitting across from me. Virgo, let your intuition guide you towards understanding matters on a deeper level. In the recent past, you've been second-guessing your own personal truths. All of this is causing you to have doubt about your ability to see situations and people clearly. This week, you'll come to see that you've been right all along, encouraging you to never doubt your intuition again. Believe in yourself.
Aww.
Believe in yourself. Libra, keep it balanced, Libra. I know a little bit about astrology, even though I'm an atheist. Your sense of security is being challenged, resulting in your newly found bohemian ideology. You're placing less importance on materialism and focusing more on spiritual endeavors. No longer will you find comfort in objects. Instead, you'll find solace in knowing yourself and your heart. By shifting your relationship with the material world, you can get to know yourself better and love yourself more than ever. So, Libra this week, love yourself.
Is it up to me now?
Now I leave it up to the beautiful witch.
Alright, Scorpio! This week's cosmic activity will hit you on a deep and personal level. The good news is that you will find the emotional space to understand your feelings and know the reasons behind your actions. Not only that, but you'll be able to connect with yourself in a transformative way. One that will serve to alleviate your heart and mind for the better. Sagittarius. Step away from the big picture and focus on the details this week. You'll find that the way you viewed the world has left you unable to see all the smaller injustices that people face every day. As a result, you'll begin advocating for others and using your voice to speak up on social media in an effort to bring awareness to such issues. Capricorn!
Oh, jeez, the goat. It's funny that you don't trust the goat upstairs. You think the goat's being mischievous. And I am
very mischievous.
I am mischievous.
Yeah, that you are. Try manifesting your visions.
It's getting ridiculous here.
Yeah, well.
Insanity.
Alright, Capricorn. Try manifesting your visions with sex magic this week.
Babu! Thank you!
Oh my God.
Can the witch handle it this week?
To make your visions a reality by embracing your sexuality and erotic dreams along with your objectives. Oh, shit. You'll be able to direct energy into making them come true. You'll give your inner passions purpose through your innate desires. Light a red candle, craft your own personal sigil on it, and allow yourself to become magically enlightened.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
See how natural atheists.
Whoa. Alright, Aquarius. You're being cosmically pushed to make changes in your one-on-one relationship this week. The caveat is that you may not be ready to transform your partnership. Take baby steps towards implementing positive growth with others. Remember, this is the beginning of a journey. Trust this process as it can alleviate your relationship with others. Then you can truly evolve with those you care about. And last but not least, Pisces. Life can get a little hectic, but that's not an excuse to deny yourself of self-care, especially during these intense times. It's been a moment since you focused your energies on yourself this week. You're finding that you need to take a break from the daily stresses of life. Take a hot bath with chamomile, lavender, and Epsom salt to wash away your frustrations. Ooh, that sounds nice. Alright.
Very interesting this week. I need to know more about the sex magic with the...
It says light a red candle and get your funk on.
I'm going to have to get my funk delicious.
You get your funky. So, You know, I get
Blood and Boners.
yeah, I get Llewellyn's New Worlds publication for their books that are coming out, and I'm gonna buy one, and it's called The Approachable Guide to Shadow Magic, and it's called Of Blood and Bones.
I have a Shadow Dancing, the Bee Gees.
Really? Shadow Dancing. Woo. So this is by Kate Fruhler. And it goes into Shadow Maggot. Yarr.
So oddly enough, that was the name of my punk band in the 90s, Shadow Maggot.
Were they a raccoon stock?
Yes, they were supposed to be a raccoon stock, but they broke up beforehand.
Was it the maggots?
They got overwhelmed. They were eaten from the inside out.
Oh my god, that's horrible. Yeah, it happens a lot of bands. They just go that way. All right. Okay, so shadow magic occupies a critical role in the rich history of witchcraft, and it continues to draw strong interest from contemporary practitioners despite the limited information that is available. This book explores misunderstood topics such as ethically collecting and using animal parts and bones, blood magic, dark moon energy, hexing, graveyard dirt, spells to assist the crossing of a dying loved one, and much more. With a strong focus on ethics, Kate Fruhler provides much needed information and hands-on techniques to help you strengthen your life, connect to nature, protect yourself and your kith and kin, and know yourself in a deep way. So that's my new book. I'm going to be buying this.
You didn't buy it yet?
No, I'm going to buy it probably after the show.
Right after the show.
Right after.
After the show.
Although we might have to see what's going on over at Cucamonga's place because there seems to be a lot of drama happening.
We're going to have to pull out and check all that out.
Yeah.
Right afterwards.
So, on to the ghost stories of the week.
Actually, I want to talk. I want my segment, my comic book segment.
Oh yay! All right, go ahead.
So as I've said before, as I said last week, I'm a big fan of comic books.
Mm-hmm.
I like to read them and I find them interesting. I'm also a fan of Marvel movies. I'm in a bit of a dry spell right now because, of course, of the pandemic. Nobody can go to the movies. They can't release any movies, and we're just floundering here.
Mm-hmm.
But so I'm looking forward to the new Marvel movies. But what got me into comic books, and the first comic book that I ever saw when I was a little kid on what was called a comic book spinning rack that used to be in like pharmacies and convenience stores, and they would be in this rack, and it would spin around and have comic books on it, was an issue of the Fantastic Four. And it was, I went to this place with my mom, and she said, you can pick out a comic book, and I was like, what's a comic book? And she said, there's those things there, and I picked it out. And I saw the cover of this and I thought it looked really cool. It was an issue of Fantastic Four, and the Fantastic Four in their fantastic car, which was like a flying bathtub. And on the cover they were battling this dragon, purple dragon looking thing. And it was called Dragon Man.
Ah!
Very, very imaginative. But so this is probably, let's see, I was probably maybe 5 or 6, it was like 1971 or so. And I grabbed it, took it home, and that began my journey on the comic books with the Fantastic Four. And I've always had a special place for the Fantastic Four in my heart, because number one, they were the first comic book I ever read, of course, but the way they're written is just, what Stan Lee started, was just amazing. The way he came up with this idea as a counter to DC Comics' Justice League of America, which was all Superman and Batman, the big ones, and they're like, come up with something like, like Justice League. That's what the head of Marvel told him. And he was like, okay, a team book. So instead of like teaming up superheroes, he came up with a team of superheroes. So he made it a family. So it was Reed Richards, his girlfriend Susan Storm, Susan Storm's brother Johnny Storm, and then Reed Richards' lifelong buddy Ben Grimm, who he manically disfigured by taking him into an illegal space flight where they got hit by gamma rays, and
my God.
and it becomes a whole antagonist.
Another gamma ray situation.
It's always about the gamma rays in the Marvel universe.
You.
Actually, it was cosmic rays. Gamma rays is the whole cosmic rays.
I was like, damn, what, another one?
It's too many rays. A lot of rays in there. Marvel Universe. But so what I always found interesting about the comic was it's fun, the action, the adventure, and the goofy stories. But the way it's written is it's very relatable, which most Marvel comics are, to the way that people just interact. You know, Reed's, and I'm a lot like Reed Richards. If I'm involved in something, Chrissy could walk up to me naked in the sexiest outfit ever, and I'd be like, "That's lovely." But I'd just be of tunnel vision, working on what I'm working on, and that's Reed Richards to a T. Like his Susan Storm, like she understands that like that's who he is, but she still is like, "Hey Reed, get your freaking head out of your ass." And then there's Ben Grimm, who stands behind his buddy, even though he accidentally, did what happened to him with turning him into the Thing. Johnny Storm's a hothead, and he's sort of half-assed friends with Ben Grimm, and they're always pulling pranks on each other, and it was always really fun to watch, to read. So I'm really looking forward to Marvel movies eventually integrating the Fantastic Four into the universe there and how they do it. I think they'll probably do a really good job, and done correctly. They did a few Marvel movies before Marvel Studios with the Fantastic Four. They weren't that bad, but they weren't in with everything else, and these superheroes, like I always say, by themselves suck. So Marvel Fantastic Four in with the X-Men and the Avengers and all that's gonna be really good. So before I sign off on like how much I love Fantastic Four, and you should go out and read it because it's back out again. The thing about that first issue with Dragon Man is they set the cover up and they put the story out there as though they're battling this horrible creature and they got to take him down. And it turns out in the end that Dragon Man was this sophisticated android that was built by a super genius scientist. So it was actually one of those misunderstood creature things. So once they got the Dragon Man and they pulled him aside and they stopped him from his programming, they found that he was actually a decent person. So they did not to judge the Dragon Man by how ferocious he looked.
Poor guy.
Yep. And now Dragon Man actually heads a school of gifted and talented youngsters in the Marvel Universe, the Future Foundation, as they're called. So go read Fantastic Four, and next week I'll have some more news about comic books that I like. So read comic books; they're fun and they'll get you out of the COVID and the political insanity of today.
The nonsense.
Speaking of insanity, what do we have for it's time for Chrissy's
Creepy Chronicles.
Ooh, start it up.
Alright, so mine is called The Ouija Board Knocks Back. And this is by Reddit user Excrement Cranium.
And we all know what an excrement cranium is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, it says, in high school, my friends and I were messing around with a Ouija board one night. We had done it before and nothing remarkable ever happened. We usually did it to try to scare each other or our girlfriends. We all thought it was a joke. That night, there was no one else home except the 7 of us, and we were all together around the board. One of the girls there wanted to try it. She had never done it before. This time was different. The board misspelled some of the words the same way every time. It gave answers that seemed historically accurate for our town. Things we neither knew or cared about. Long story short, the spirit claimed it was a 10-year-old boy who had died on the property in the 1800s and was buried there too in an unmarked grave. My friend's house was on a farm in the edge of town. We were all a little freaked out because the board had never been so detailed and consistent. However, we were still skeptical, and we were all assuming one of us was trying to scare the rest. Finally, my friend asked if the spirit could do something to prove he was there with us. It went to yes, and then spelled out knock. Then the planchette stopped moving. We just all stared at it silently, and then there was a rap on the window right next to us. The lights were on outside, and there was absolutely no one out there. We never touched the fucking thing again.
You had a Ouija board for a long time. It used to follow us around every time we went someplace. Things happen. You're like, that's it. I'm getting rid of the Ouija board.
Yeah, when we moved here,
And you fell down the stairs.
And I fell down the basement stairs, and that was literally when I brought the board into this house. I threw it out into the garbage can at the beginning of the trail. Or actually, no, I threw it out at the road, and for some reason Alex picked it up. And I'm like, I don't know, Alex. I don't know if you really want to do this.
Be gone, vile Ouija
Yeah,
board.
so he picked it up. He was going to put it in the store over there, next door. And I was like, well, as long as it's off the property and out of her house. But I was like, man, Alex, I don't know. Alex is our neighbor. Awesome guy.
Alex Bowen.
Alex Bowen. Love him and his boyfriend, Devin.
Alex, of course, is the...
What?
It just escaped my mind. He is the most interesting man in Barnegat.
He is. We love him to pieces. But anyway, so, you know, like a week or two after that, I asked him, I said, you still got that Ouija board? And he's like, oh no, Devin made me get rid of it. He's like, he didn't want that thing in here at all. I'm like, thank God. So.
Sure. So do I have a story now, or are you doing more stories?
No, that was. I'm just gonna do the one.
Okay, so I'm gonna do the other story.
Yeah.
All right, so this week is called "Mom Averts Danger." This is a camping story from Reddit user More Napkins Please. Forget monsters, people are terrifying. The scariest thing I've had happen while camping. So I live in Eastern Oregon, and my mom lives in Western Oregon. I went to visit her for the summer, and she's very outdoorsy. So we decided to take the 1-hour drive from her city to the coast. We end up at this free campsite at the top of this hill. Huge foothills of the coastal mountains, about a 25-minute drive from the top, where the campsite is to the bottom, where the main road was. And we were the only campers there. We relaxed for the rest of the day, made food, etc. A truck full of men drive up the hill and talk with my mom. I don't know what about. Wasn't suspicious at the time. And they leave us. Fast forward to the middle of the night. I wake up to my mom sitting straight up in the tent. I wake easily, so I heard her gasp, and it woke me. As soon as she saw I was awake, she put her hand over my mouth because I was starting to ask her what's wrong. It was dead silent, and all of a sudden you hear footsteps right beside the tent. The little flap that covers the zipper was even moving. Thankfully, my mom has quick wits and said very loudly, "Kenny, grab the gun!" Kenny is my dad, although that doesn't matter, and mind you, he was not there, just us girls, like I previously said. They left. No harm was done. Thank the Lord for my mama. So, what was the moral of the story here? It was just two girls at a campsite alone.
Mm-hmm.
People were outside the tent in the middle of the night.
Uh-huh.
And the mom pulled some mental badassery out of her little booty.
She did.
Yep, I do that too.
Good mama.
When people fuck with me on the parkway now, or when I'm driving, and they decide they're going to pull up and drive my ass, or they're going to do something to cut me off. So, I don't flip in the bird, I don't freak out. I just go and I grab my cell phone, I put it up to my head, and I start talking like I'm calling the police, yes, and I stick my head forward like I'm looking at their license plate, trying to read their license plate. I did it to one guy who like pulled in front of me, zoomed in, and he started slamming his brakes on, and he totally freaked out, and he's like, and he took off down the road. Call the police.
Good. Oh my God, yeah. That's like that day in Trenton.
Yeah, the day in Trenton was a little...
That was scary.
Yeah.
That was bad.
It was a lot of fun.
That was Christine causing us a lot of unnecessary grief.
It was a little...
And it was my fault. It was all my fault.
It wasn't completely your fault, but you can't, like, because you just don't know what's going on in your brains. Unless you're prepared to unless you're prepared to hurt somebody, you can't, like, you have to always be prepared to hurt somebody.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So that's all I got for this week.
That's all you got for this week?
Yeah. I almost feel like we gotta run out and see what's going on.
We are gonna run out. Do you have closing thoughts this week? For
yes. I want to put this blessing on you all. May you all die by death by Shnu Shnu.
I agree. I want to be death by Shnu Shnu. And if you don't know what death by Shnu Shnu is, just type into any of your search engines Shnu Shnu, SCHNU, and Futurama. Shnu Shnu Futurama. I like to recite a speech that I always put out there whenever I feel as though the situation is getting dire. People are just acting like a-holes. There's a movie and a book called The Bonfire of the Vanities. And it's all the way at the end after all this crazy stuff goes down. And if you ever want to read the book or look about anything, it's this big story about all this corruption and all these horrible things happen because of an accident that occurs. Anyway, so at the end, the judge has to basically overturn the ruling on the case because there's so much corruption going on. He's just like, and the people were guilty, but he's like, due to this, I have to let you go. So somebody out there yells out to the judge is a racist. The judge, of course, in this case, is a black man. So this is Morgan Freeman. So you have to you gotta look this up on YouTube. It's a really good little speech. But this is Morgan Freeman, and he hits back at people who are just the worst of the worst, the most vile of society. And if you know who I'm talking about right now, you know who I'm talking about. If you're listening to this, you probably know what's going on, where my mind is at. Racist? You dare call me a racist? Well, I say unto you, what does it matter the color of a man's skin if witnesses perjure themselves? If a prosecutor enlists the perjurers? When a district attorney throws a man to the mob for political gain, and men of the cloth, men of God, take the prime cuts, is that justice? I don't hear you. Let me tell you what justice is. Justice is the law. And the law is man's feeble attempt to lay down the principles of decency. Decency. And decency isn't a deal, Mr. President. It's not a contract, Mr. Attorney General. It's not a hustle or an angle, Republican Party. Decency is what your grandmother taught you. It's in your bones. Now you go home. You go home and be decent people. Just be decent. That's what I got for you this week. That's my thing. That speech always hits me hard, and lately lately a lot of things I'm seeing out here are just unfeeling, non-compassionate, no empathy bastards just irritate me to no end. And let's see, I got one other little saying. This is a brittle saying here. This is a brittle saying. Prepare yourself, because this is coming out of my brain, which is sort of warped. History without philosophy is just a bunch of useless facts. All right. So my final thing is, and you can back me up on this, is, of course, we are also still doing a magazine.
Yeah.
Which is called Atheist and Witch magazine.
Yay!
And we're still looking for, and we're going to start putting all this stuff on our Instagram pages. Atheist and Witch magazine, Atheist and Witch magazine on Instagram, Atheist and Witch on Instagram. I'm going to start messaging people. We'll start messaging people to see if they want to contribute. But we're looking for pinups of all kinds: cyberpunk, witch, gothic, fairy, steampunk. Anything that's definitely different, we want. Artists, same kind of genre. Writing, science, atheists, philosophies, any of that stuff we want in there as well. So we want submittals to the magazine. So we're really looking for that. We're looking forward to that. That's part of the reason that we're doing all of this, because it's all linked together in this one happy little situation that we have, which is the Atheist and the Witch. We came up together. Yeah. So this is where you can find us all over the internet, because we're like plastered all over the place. Of course, our website, the main portal to us, is the atheistandthewitch.com. From there you can find everything else. But if you don't want to go there, you can go to Twitter, Atheist and Witch. Instagram, the Atheist and the Witch. Also Atheist and Witch magazine. Facebook, The Atheist and the Witch. YouTube, theatheistandthewitch.com. We have a couple of stores that you can go to for merchandise with Atheist and the Witch. Store.theatheistandthewitch.com. Chrissy has her store for all of her artwork and designs. TheWitchStore.theatheistandthewitch.com. And we will have our Patreon site will be up and functioning well before this podcast comes out. So go to patreon.com/The Atheist and The Witch. And if we have any listeners that are looking for Chrissy the Witch,
Woo!
the wild witch.
The wild witch.
The wild witch.
Yeah.
She is on there as well with photo sets that are exclusively only available on patreon.com. Patreon.com/The Atheist and The Witch. Look for the wild witch on there. She has photo sets, videos of the photo shoots that we do, and you can get signed prints on there as well. So, we hope to hear from you on the internet. Comment to us, DM us, message us, however you want to get a hold of us.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave us with our little saying here for all of us out there that are atheists and witchers. They call us weird, they call us odd, they don't get it, we don't care. Where reason meets magic, we are the Atheist and the Witch. Christine?
Woo! I said death by Shnu Shnu.
Death by Shnu. We're leaving you all
With death by Shnu Shnu.
Death by Shnu Shnu. See you next week.
Yes. Bye!
Bye.
The police are over there now.
We actually did really good this week. I felt as though we went 46 minutes. We didn't make a lot of stumbling mistakes.
No, we had a lot of fun stuff.
We had a lot of good stuff. So, alright. I feel good.
Yeah, no, I thought we did alright. We still have a lot of stories. I'm gonna get rid of, well, this I'm gonna hold on to. I'm gonna get rid of this, because this we read. The police department is across the street.